The early 18th century BC in ancient Mesopotamia was a time of political fragmentation, as the once powerful Akkadian Empire had disintegrated at the hands of the nomadic Gutian people from the Zagros Mountains, leaving the region's city-states vulnerable and divided. And in this fractured landscape, the small kingdom of Babylon began to rise under the leadership of a cunning Amorite ruler named Hammurabi, whose father, Sin-Muballit, had already begun modest expansions by conquering Kish, Sippar, and Borsippa before abdicating due to illness in 1792 BC, passing the throne to his 18-year-old son, who would transform Babylon into the heart of a vast empire. For in the early years of his reign, Hammurabi focused on strengthening the city through large-scale public works, completing his father's projects, heightening the city's walls for greater defense, commissioning temples to Marduk, the Babylonian god of thunderstorms, and gaining immense popularity by issuing a sweeping proclamation forgiving all debts owed to the kingdom, a move that endeared him to the common people and set the stage for the conquests to come. Yet for nearly a decade, peace reigned until the powerful kingdom of Elam invaded Mesopotamia, conquering Eshnunna and setting its sights on Babylon. But Elam's plot to spark conflict between Babylon and the kingdom of Larsa was uncovered by Hammurabi, leading to a strategic alliance with Larsa's king Rim-Sin to repel the invaders, which succeeded despite Rim-Sin's limited troop commitment, a decision that enraged Hammurabi and motivated him to form a coalition of neighboring states to besiege Larsa for 6 months, ultimately capturing it and executing Rim-Sin, after which Hammurabi turned against his former allies in the south, conquering their territories with the help of Mari, only to later betray Mari itself when political unrest weakened it, marching north to destroy its capital and execute its king while leaving the region as small villages under Babylonian control. And with his ambition unquenched, Hammurabi then moved to conquer Assyria after the death of its legendary king Shamshi-Adad, swiftly subduing its cities and uniting the whole of Mesopotamia under his rule. But despite his remarkable military achievements, his empire would be short-lived after his death at age 60 in 1750 BC due to illness, as his successors lacked the administrative skill and political structure to maintain such vast territory, leading to the gradual disintegration of Babylonian dominance over the next century. Yet Hammurabi's military genius was undeniable, with one of his most feared tactics being the construction of temporary dams to control river flow, using the water as a weapon to either starve cities by cutting off their supply or flood them into submission, a brutal but effective method that contributed greatly to his rapid expansion. And while his conquests were extraordinary, his most enduring legacy was the Code of Hammurabi, a set of 282 laws carved in cuneiform onto a 7-foot black diorite stele depicting Hammurabi receiving the laws from Shamash, the Babylonian god of justice, which drew from earlier Sumerian and Akkadian traditions but were codified into a comprehensive legal system that sought to create order through the principle of retributive justice, exemplified by laws such as, if a man destroys the eye of another man, they shall destroy his eye, and, if a man breaks another man's bone, his bone shall be broken. Yet despite aiming for fairness, the code enshrined inequality by dividing society into 3 classes: property owners, free men, and slaves, with punishments varying according to status, as seen in laws like, if anyone steals cattle or sheep, or a donkey, or a pig or a goat, if it belong to a god or to the court, the thief shall pay 30-fold. If they belong to a freed man of the king, he shall pay 10-fold. If the thief has nothing with which to pay, he shall be put to death. And, if a male slave says to his master, "You are not my master," his master shall prove him to be his slave and shall cut off his ear. And women also faced harsh provisions, such as the rule that if a man's wife was accused of infidelity without proof, she must leap into the sacred river to prove her innocence, a stark reflection of the gender inequalities of the time. Yet despite its flaws, the Code of Hammurabi became one of the most influential legal documents in history, shaping later codes such as the Biblical Book of the Covenant, and standing as one of the earliest known examples of a ruler using written law to consolidate power, administer justice, and project authority across a vast territory. And even though the Babylonian Empire crumbled in the following century, Hammurabi's reign left an indelible mark on history as an era of ruthless ambition, strategic brilliance, and legal innovation, with his empire's rise serving as a testament to how vision, diplomacy, and calculated betrayal could transform a modest city-state into a dominant superpower. and his code serving as a reminder of humanity's long and complex journey toward justice, governance, and societal order, making him not only a formidable conqueror but also one of the most significant lawgivers of the ancient world, whose story continues to fascinate historians, archaeologists, and students of law alike, for his ability to manipulate political alliances, exploit the weaknesses of rivals, and employ both engineering and military might in tandem was unmatched in his time, while his willingness to turn on allies once they had served their purpose speaks to a pragmatic, even ruthless, approach to statecraft, and his infrastructure improvements in Babylon not only fortified the city but also elevated its religious and cultural standing, especially with the grand temples dedicated to Marduk, which reinforced the divine legitimacy of his rule. And while his debt forgiveness policy might be seen as an act of benevolence, it was also a shrewd political move to secure loyalty among the populace, ensuring stability as he prepared for greater military campaigns. And in the end, Hammurabi's life encapsulates the duality of power in the ancient world, capable of bringing prosperity, order, and cultural advancement, yet also rooted in conquest, oppression, and inequality, with his empire's swift disintegration after his death highlighting the fragility of dominions built upon the strength of a single leader rather than enduring institutions, a lesson echoed time and again in the annals of history. And so Hammurabi stands as both a symbol of the heights a ruler can reach through determination and strategy, and a cautionary tale of the impermanence of empires, reminding us that while laws may outlast their makers, the power that enforces them is always transient. And in this way, the story of Hammurabi and Babylon is not just a chapter of Mesopotamian history, but a mirror to the broader human story of ambition, governance, and the relentless tides of rise and fall that shape civilizations.